My name is Adam Struseski, and I am the representative for your 401k plan. And I was hired by AMM, ballpark 8 or 9 years ago, I think, right around then when AMM very first started their 401k plan. And what they asked me to do is go out there and shop all these different providers and come up with a company that could meet the needs of AMM Collusion. That company is Transamerica. And so what we do every year is we look at Transamerica and we look at other vendors and we make sure that Transamerica is still meeting that bar. If they don't, then we cut them and we would move to another custodian. But right now they have been in line with service and price, and they offer good investment selections, and so they've been a good choice for AMM. But I do not work for Transamerica, I work for y'all. So whatever, if you have questions about the plan or questions about anything, frankly, personal finance, then I'm happy to help. So the 401k is for people that want to have money in retirement. This money is long-term money, so when you're ready to stop working, that you can start to receive an income check. This 401k is not for people that don't have a savings account, that don't have money put away so that if their refrigerator breaks or their car breaks down, or if they need a few thousand or $1,000 to a couple $1,000s, that they go in and pull money out of this account. So you do have access to the money in certain circumstances, but it's really not designed for that. So it's really for people that want to retire someday and that want to receive income in the future, not for people that are planning on taking the money out in the future or looking for a savings account. If you contribute to the traditional option, you're using pre-tax dollars. And so when you take, what happens is all the money that goes into the plan, your contributions, that effectively lowers your tax liability at the end of the year. So if you want to lower your taxes, then a traditional option is a good way to go. Now the catch is that, let's say that you contribute to the plan over the next 10 years, and then you want to start pulling money out. That is when you are taxed on this money. So you do not pay the taxes up front, you pay the taxes later. The other option that you have is called the Roth option. The Roth option is the exact opposite when it comes to your taxes. And so what happens is you contribute to the plan with what are called after-tax dollars. So that money's already taxed, and you put the money into the plan. It all grows, tax deferred. There are no taxes in the meantime. And then when you take the money out, it's all tax-free. So the question is, are you in a higher tax bracket now or later? The reality is that none of us really know. And so if you do not have a tax problem right now, the Roth option is a nice option. AMM, they do a match on the plan. The way that the match works is they contribute 0.25% for every one that you contribute, up to 4%. So what that means is if you contribute 1%, they'll contribute 0.25%. You contribute 2, they'll contribute 0.5, 3, 0.7. If you contribute 4% to the plan, then they will contribute 1% on your behalf. The 1% of your adjusted gross income of your salary. And so in order to take full advantage of the match, you do at least 4%. The fact of the matter is, the sooner you want to retire, the sooner that you want to stop working, the sooner that you want to become financially independent, the sooner that you want to live off of your money, the more money you put away, and the higher the rate of return that you can get is the better. And it's that simple. If you were employed somewhere else and you have a 401k plan, you can roll that 401k into AMM's plan. They have what's called a rollover form, and essentially you complete the information on the form, and then we submit that to Transamerica, and then Transamerica does the rest. They solicit for the funds at the other company. I'm happy to help with that, but what I need, if I'm going to help, is a statement from from your 401k company. With there, we have all the information that we need in order to roll over your 401k plan from a previous employer to the AMM Collusion plan. All your money that you contributed goes with you, no matter what time, how much you contribute or when you contribute. But the money that AMM contributed on your behalf, after 5 years, it's 100% yours. It's all yours in the meantime as it's growing and it's contributing on yours. But if you leave before that 5, that's when the vesting schedule comes into play. Let's say, for example, that let's say that you work for AMM for the next over 3 years. Well, that means that on your vested, on the money that AMM contributed on your behalf, you would be 60% vested. And so if you left and you took that money with you, you would have 60% of what they contributed. What you have to know about this 401k plan is every single dollar that you put into the plan is your money. The vested, yes, you have a vesting period, but that's the money that AMM contributes on your behalf. Every dollar that you put in is your money. So that means that if you are unemployed by AMM, that money goes with you. At that time, you could either roll it into an IRA, or if you work for another company with a 401k plan, more than likely you can take that money and roll it into their 401k plan. The other thing is that, let's say that you absolutely need the funds. There are really two different ways that you can get, you have access to the money that's in the account. You could borrow against it, or the second is that you can make a hardship withdrawal. So depending upon your situation, that may be an option for you, but again, the point of the 401k is not to go into it thinking that you're going to borrow against it or thinking that you're going to need to take a hardship withdrawal, but those are options for you. The other thing is God forbid something happens to you and there is money in the account, that money goes to who you want it to go to. That money is not kept by anybody except for your beneficiary. So there's a beneficiary form. It's important to fill it out because Transamerica needs to know where to send that money if they need to. It can be, if you're married, it's your spouse. If you're not married, it can basically be anybody you want. There's a primary and there's a contingent, and they both can be filled out. The primary is who it goes to first. The contingent is if it doesn't go to the primary, that is the contingent. Basically, the way to look at it is long term is depending upon how much money you want in retirement, right? And so you have this big chunk of money, and if however much that money is, if that provides the lifestyle that you want, then that is long term. The next part of the form is the catch-up contributions. And what that means is that if you're over 50 or older, then you can make additional contributions that someone younger could not make. And so, for example, if you're under 50, you can contribute $18,500 to the plan. It doesn't matter how much you earn with the company, but you can contribute $18,500. If in fact you are over 50, then you can contribute an additional $6,000 on top of that $18,500, so it'd be $24,500. That is done on an annual basis, so each year you get to start over on that $18,500. The next section of the paperwork is the investment mix. And I think you can look at this in 3 different sections. They've called it Option A, Option B, and Option C. The difference between those options is the first option, Option A, is where they have a target retirement date. And so this would be maybe a good option for somebody that says, I know I want to retire in 2035. Okay, great. Well, they have a mutual fund that the way that it's managed is as 2035 approaches, the money is invested more and more conservatively. And essentially what that means is that it's a higher holding in bonds and it's a higher holding in cash. The further away you are from that date, the higher the concentration of the investment in equities or stocks. The second mix is option B, another asset allocation series. And all asset allocation series means is it's a broad, diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds and so forth. And so this one is managed a little bit differently. So this one would be for maybe the investor that says, hey, I'm conservative, or I'm moderate, or I'm aggressive, whatever the case may be. And they could then pick one of those particular funds that say, I'm moderate. And that would be a fine choice for that person because that's their temperament of investing. They're moderate as far as risk tolerance goes of their investment. That would be a fine choice. The next option C is for those that want to build their own portfolio. And so if they want to own 20% in large cap, if they want to own 20% in value, if they want to own 30% in international, whatever that mix may be, as long as it adds up to 100%, then you can contribute to those particular funds. And that would be for those, option C, all those under the option C, create your own investment portfolio, would be just for that individual that wants to craft a really customized portfolio that they're comfortable with. Within the 401k plan, there are what are called mutual funds. The mutual fund is a vehicle in which you have essentially hired somebody to buy and sell stocks and bonds on your behalf. And so what they're doing is they're saying, I like company X or I like company A, whatever. They buy it and they hold on to it for as long as they want to hold on to it, and then they sell it. They do all this for you. Some of these are more aggressive and some of them are more conservative. A way to look at aggressive versus conservative is volatility. And so if a conservative one will jump around a little bit, but a steady up move, if you will, and then a more aggressive one it'll be more of a wild ride. So there's not a right or a wrong answer between conservative or aggressive. It really depends upon how you sleep at night. If you're worried about your investments, you're probably not very aggressive. If you don't worry about a drop in the stock market or the bond market, then the aggressive may be more suiting for you.